Hey everybody, we're going to try a jam session. We're going to show you a little bit more of the complexities of the system and just how much the noodler can actually incorporate inputs and outputs and drones and all that. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to set up the evolver as a drone. So we've already got the evolver set to channel 11, MIDI channel 11. So we'll go over to our menu. And we'll see here on our system menu number 2, it says drone channel 11. I could change that by twisting an encoder. So it's 11. Now how the drone works is every time a chord is played, meaning you press a button, what'll happen is a note will get sent, the root note of the chord will get sent to the drone. So let's see what happens here. Let's go back out. Okay, good. So I hear the evolver doing its thing, it's evolving. And if I hit another one, okay, cool. So right now we're in a key of G. I'm going to go ahead and change that. So we'll click, notice key is in the middle here and this arrow is pointing up. So I'm going to click over here and I'm going to go to the key of A. So we'll just play in the key of A. Okay, cool. So now we'll hit again. Okay, notice that it says we hit a 1 chord and it's an A. It happens to be a triad, but the evolver doesn't care about that. It's only playing the single note. So now we've got the evolver on a drone and we'll just futz around. So all right. So now, also, let's go back in here. I want to show you something. It says clock internal. That means the noodler is a clock. So if you look here, I've got it at 13 BPM, very slow. That's because I'll show you why I'm doing it that slow. But what's happening is there's a clock pulse going out on all the MIDI cables to everything that's on the output side. And it's getting a clock tick at every 13 beats per minute. Actually, 24 clock ticks every 13 beats per minute. So that's what's driving the evolver. Now, I'm going to turn the evolver off by hitting Shift Panic up here. That takes care of the drone note. Let's go ahead and turn the Polychains off, down to 1. So I went into the menu. It turns out that I was on system menu 2. That's where most of the cool stuff is. And then because this is in the second box down, this knob affects it. Okay, so Polychains is 1. So go back out, and now I'm going to push the pad. And what's going to happen is now we're getting the DeepMind 12, like in the original video. And it's playing a C-sharp minor. Minor, we know the Roman numerals are lowercase, that means it's a minor. And you hear the evolver kick in. So now we've got both of them going. But I wanted to expand a little bit. I'll turn everybody off. Whoops. Turn everybody off. What I want to do is expand on the pad by using what we call the interleaved polychaining. So we didn't explain that very well last time, but what it means is if you've got, let's say, 10 or 8 notes being played and you've got a interleave polychaining of 2, that's 2 synthesizers, then it would be synthesizer 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So it's not traditional polychaining like the first synth plays all the notes until it runs out, and then the next synth gets the next set. We interleave them. So we can have up to 4 interleaved. Right now I've got the DeepMind 12. Since it's only a single timbre, that's only on 1 channel. But the Orbit, which is this guy down here, this guy is multi-timbral, so we can have up to 16 timbres playing simultaneously. I love these things. So what we've done is we set up 2 timbres on the Orbit, and they're on channels 5 and 6. And this guy's on channel 4. So when you set up a polychain, it'll go from the original pad channel and then add channels to that. So if the original pad channel is 4, which is where the DeepMind 12 is, then the Orbit needs to be on 5, 6, and 7 if you wanted all 3 other voices. But right now we're just going to add 2. So we'll go back to menu, Polychains 3 rather. And we'll go back out, and now we'll hit pad. Uh-oh. Oh, I gotta hit a... There we go. So now we have a thing called, we got a wind song is one of the voices on the orbit, and Mind Warp is the other voice, and then the DeepMind 12 voice. And then you also have the evolver coming in the background. I'll turn the pad off and you'll hear it. So there's the evolver. So the evolver will keep evolving on that note even if I change, even if I change the position and range of these voices. Now, what's really cool is if I make the range really small, I can almost play these notes. So listen. That's the Mind Warp. That's the DeepMind 12. And the wind song is really hard to hear. You can hear them turning on as I expand the range. Alright, so I'm going to turn the pad off. And I'll also turn the evolver off using the panic button. Okay, so what's interesting here is now the next step is how do I incorporate other things? How do I drive this? Well, I have an Arturia key step. You can see it from up there, or maybe you from over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit pad, and I'm going to hit any white key in the key of C. The C will bring me to the first chord, the D to the next chord, and so forth. So what's happening is, regardless of what key I'm in, this will always transpose to C on the keyboard. Now we go over here in our menu, you can see that there is a setting. Where is it? Oh, it's in my MIDI settings. For keyboard control, and it's set to channel 2. So right now my Arturia is set to channel 2 to send, and it's listening in on channel 2, and it's transposing the white keys to the current. So I can kind of play it this way. Okay. Also, if I switch over to my system settings too, you'll see it says black key control. What that does, let's go back to the main screen, is if I use my black keys, like if I hit a C, if I hit a F sharp, that's a triad. A G sharp is a seventh. So if I use my 3 black keys and then the 2 black above and 2 black below, that changes the sonority of the chord. I made a mistake. I said that changes the sonority of the chord. It's not the sonority of the chord, it's the type of chord. You don't have to worry about the sonority of the chord. The chord will always be played in key. So if you hit a 5, it's going to be major in the key, in the major key, and a 4 is going to be major in the key, in the major key. The 2 and 3 are minors, and the 1, of course, is major. So you never worry about sonority. It'll always keep you in the right key. Okay, so that shows you a little bit about how you can use the keyboard to control the chords on there. Well, what's really neat is if you can do it with a keyboard, then you can do it with a sequencer. So I sequenced this SQ1 to play the notes C, D, E, and F. So I'm going to hit play. And as it sequences, it's changing chords. You can see them being changed here. And that's it for the jam. We'll just play it out and fade.